Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day. This is Juan Castillo, Marketing Lead at DNAVerse, and welcome to one more episode of our podcast series. As you know, DNAVerse is the first NFT collection artistically customized with real DNA, upon utility business that pioneers the bio-metaverse concept, as we call it. So our goal is to promote conversations about decentralized science, scientific art, blockchain, and NFT, and certainly the well-being for the human element behind. This is one of the key proposals in our roadmap from which our community will certainly benefit from. In this regard, our guest today is a great asset in the metaverse ecosystem. She's a former corporate lawyer adopted by the NFT and Web3 space, and a firm believer in the power of connections both in real life and the metaverse. She's the founder of Conspicuous, a crypto fashion house, and the well-being team at Alpha Girl Club, one of the largest, if not the largest, mental health community on Ethereum. Her goal is to spread peace and love in the metaverse through conversations about mental health, well-being, identity, sexuality, art and music, you name it, and more aspects of our personal life. She's Eli Strzelecka. Eli, welcome to DNAVerse. I hope I pronounced your company and your name right. I'm sorry for that.
Oh, hi, Juan. So nice. Perfect. I know it's a tough one, both my last name and Conspicuous. So well done.
Fantastic. Thanks for being with us. I think your profile is fantastic. You are adding such a tremendous value to the community. I've been following you on social media, and I think you have so much to tell, and I would like our community to know you better. And also, I'm glad to bring more women in the space. I think it's fantastic, the value added by this side, and we are working together. So the more we promote, the more we show any person around there, especially women, we're really glad about it. Eli, please tell us about yourself, your journey. How did you end up creating the company, and especially to support the mental health in Web3 and Metaverse?
Oh, yeah. I started my mental health journey back in 2016. Like, I don't come from a place where we talk a lot about that, or a country. Like, I'm from Poland originally, and yeah, so I didn't really know what was going on. I knew on both sides of my family there was mental illness and stuff, but it was something, I don't know, we just don't talk about those things. And at some point, well, the dam breaks and you're just like, whoa, like, it's important to start that journey. And then you're like, whoa, this industry is a lot based on medication and expensive shrinks. So it's a big industry that's pretty broken. So I started volunteering, and I created a community of 12 steps. And yeah, so my obsession has always been how to bring the mental health tools, like, to improve your life and find more joy, more happiness, more fulfillment, and put that in the hands on everyone, and in a really fun way, because it can be a really fun journey. It's a common effort that we share with other people. Like, oh my God, it's hard to be crazy. Let's do this. And this is what works for me. This is what doesn't. And yeah, so Conspicuous is really about that, about bringing people together. And I think Web3 is perfect for community creation, and communities are what makes people get better with their mental health. So I'm very agnostic. I don't really care what's the label of what you have. What I really care about are two core elements. The first one is shame, and the second one is loneliness. And I think eradicate shame and loneliness through community, then, you know, the mental health situation for people improves drastically. So I want to focus on that in Web3, but I've already been doing a lot of volunteering in that field for a few years now.
No, fantastic. I think you mentioned it before. You say journey. You didn't say goals, right? I think this is a journey. It's an individual journey. And when you mention shame and loneliness, I think it's always this sort of taboo about talking about your own struggles, about your mental health. And I believe your own journey just took you through, I would say, career, because I mentioned before that you were a former, probably you were seen, or you were more interested in this field, right? And you were adding more value, and okay, this is my journey. This is what makes me happy. And this is what channeled you. I think that's what took you as well to Alpha Girl Club, if I'm not mistaken, because probably this journey that you are talking about is a natural flow of helping people, helping communities, and helping the ecosystem that we are living in. So how did you join Alpha Girl Club? I think it's one of the largest mental health communities on Ethereum, and I think that's a great achievement to be part of the team, and how you can help such an amount of people. How do you end there, and what's the support that you provide within the community?
I'm so blessed, so I've grown a mental health community for the past 2.5 years. And when I arrived in the NFT space, of course, I'm very in tune with that. Straight away, I started with Genies. I entered their warehouse, their first beta testers. The CEO has depression, very mental health oriented. They just hired the old CEO of Disney and became a unicorn. And I'm like, that's a huge win for mental health. And so I'm in that. And then I saw Alpha Girl Club and I saw the art. I saw those fierce Asian women, really badass. And I was just so in love with the art. And then I saw that it was a mental health community. And one thing I've always been, really adamant about it is I'm really tired of the image for depression is a poster with a sad person on a chair, staring at a window where it's raining and being like, that's not what it is to deal with mental health. I think we're really fun, cool people. I think the best artists to deal with mental health, all the geniuses, you know what I mean? So we're not those depressing, boring people. And what I loved about Alpha Girl Club is the fierce women in the art, the mental health focus. And from the start, I was like, okay, I need to mint. And then they were looking for people to help bring mental health at the forefront of the conversation. So I became a volunteer and I'm in their team. We're going to be building a wellness center in the metaverse, that's the vision. And also creating more Twitter spaces around mental health and just more places to go. A lot of people, they feel alone, they feel ashamed, there's issues with how they feel. And I want to create as many places where they can just log on and feel like they're not alone and feel like whatever they're feeling, wherever they're at right now, is okay. And that there's a loving, supporting community that is here to love them when they can't love themselves. And I think that's the mission of Alpha Girl Club. Their hashtag is #YouBelong. And I remember having this conversation with Kaylee, the co-founder of Alpha Girl Club, months and months ago. I told her, you know what, one thing that I've seen succeeding in treating mental illness, in my community, is yes, the work on yourself and the understanding of resources and rules for life, but it's most the community. People arrive and tell me, Eli, I've never before opened myself up or talked about my feelings or made friends before finding your community. And I'm like, holy shit. And this is what makes people get better. And Alpha Girl Club is really in that dynamic of #YouBelong, of diagnostic agnostic. And they're always been very parallel to my values. So I'm very happy to grow my mental health journey and my project along with Alpha Girl Club. And my profile picture everywhere is an Alpha Girl Club. My company's profile picture as well, it's an Alpha Girl Club. So I think I'm definitely tied to that community. Yeah, if that answers your question.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think you feel identified with I would say, the vision or the mission of Alpha Girl Club. And if there is something behind Web3, I would say metaverse, NFTs, it's just as a community. It's just a gathering like-minded communities, right? And this could bring as many positive effects on people, on mental health, as unfortunately negative. There are always bad actors and good actors in everything, but maybe the environment, the positive environment, helps people to connect from any part of the world. Doesn't need to be in the same city, doesn't need to be in the same country or even the same language. You just connect with people on a certain level that you are removing, I would say, the physical world, and you just get deeply into communicating what you are, how you feel. You will find people having the same problem. You're not the only one. But there is always this concern, right? Obviously, there are many positive effects on this side, but also could be maybe negative, right? Because at some point you need to face your own problems, and you don't need to evade them. You can have support from the community, but maybe you could hide yourself behind an avatar, create your own character, but eventually you are a human. And if you disconnect your computer or your mobile, you will be again on your own, right? So what do you think? What is the line between the reality and digital life? How the metaverse is gonna be helping mental health, but at the same time, how it's gonna be avoiding that people basically avoid these troubles, right? Avoid, okay, this is my real life, I need to take care of it. I can get help by the community, but at the same time, I'm on my own. What do you think? What's the balance there?
Oh yeah, and I love seeing it in those two ways. On the one hand, I think the metaverse comes with opportunity for disruption and innovation within the mental health industry and provide a lot of solutions and communities and love and support to help people's mental health. But there's that other element, right, as well, of the metaverse native, crypto native mental health problems. We see the degree of FOMO going on in the space. Somehow people bragging a lot about what monkey they bought in 2017, you know what I mean? And other people feeling like, hey, I'm not rich and I'm in Web3 and I'm a piece of shit, when like really that's really difficult. And I think that's the same problem that we've had already with gaming. You create a persona, you create a new life for yourself. It gives you like a second personality, a second chance at expressing yourself in a creative way, but then you may drown in it. Like gaming has done that, social media has done that, you know what I mean? And I think there's going to be native issues and people escaping in the metaverse, in gaming. And I think that's why it's really important for my project to be centered around in real life and metaverse experiences. I want to invite people like to parties and fun events on different metaverses, and I want to invite them to parties and fun events in real life. I want them to leave the house and go to a concert I'm organizing in Boston or whatever. And I think it's important to bridge that gap, and I think that's really nicely tying into as well like a topic that I've been only starting to look at quite recently, which is body positivity and loving our bodies and like loving ourselves, and like how do we take care of our bodies in real life. We don't have to be ashamed of our bodies anymore in the metaverse because they're fictional. But then like how do we bridge that with and just make sure and check in that we love our lives, we love ourselves, we love our bodies in real life and in the metaverse, and to make sure the experiences my brand provides is both in the metaverse and in real life as well. And we're gonna have to find that shade of gray, that balance. And just like social media, one day it's very nice because I see what my friends are doing that I haven't seen for 10 years. I see pictures of their babies and it makes me happy. But then, you know, it's, oh, you can break up with someone and then you see their whole life and then it's triggering. Then, or you see your imperfections in your body and all those perfect filtered pictures when you're not doing well. And it comes with different things that you have to, you know, those shades of gray that you have to analyze. And that's why we're here as well, to bring the conversation to those topics and discover together what mental health challenges will come. I see already a few, but I'm keen to be at the forefront of it, unlike what happened with social media, where 13-year-old girls had to commit suicide for people to be like, maybe there's a little bit of a problem with how this thing works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it could have been avoided many problems or obstacles, no? Help people to overcome this personal obstacle if they find the right community that could provide help and support into time. I think it's fantastic what you're doing there. Alpha Gay Club, honestly, they share a vision similar with DNAVerse, because this feeling of community, the way we want to preserve health and help people to understand themselves much better, not only to mentally, it's also physically. How in our case we provide this sort of monitoring your genetics, what could affect you more, what is your tendency and predisposition for certain things. And that's why we also want to bring fitness classes, meditation, nutrition, disconnect from the computer. Even though you are on a digital realm, disconnect from the computer itself and just dedicate yourself both in real life and metaverse. That's why I think you are choosing the right path, which is let's build a community, but at the same time, let's organize ourselves out of the space. Let's go out there, let's go to concert, let's mingle together, let's see face to face, let's not be ashamed of ourselves. Let's have conversations in real life, right? This is just a meme or a channel where we can just interact, but at the same time, we don't want to create the same feeling like in gaming, for example, or gambling. You're abstracting yourself from the reality and just creating your own avatars and building yourself up in somewhere else. But at the end of the day, this is just a representation of yourself. We are doing in DNAVerse, for example, is to bring these genetics to create yourself digitally, but bringing your own essence. So don't forget who you are, where you're coming from, with your benefits, your struggles, your everything. And this is the positive aspect that we see in what we're doing. Yeah, as I said, our community will be also in line with this vision, and I hope we can eventually collaborate and bring them together, share expertise. What do you think the metaverse, what experiences the metaverse is going to bring that it could be seen on the same level as real life. Obviously, we don't want to talk about substituting experiences, but maybe something that it looks quite similar on that level.
But I think it's different. And I like to take this example, like I was on a Friday night, I was feeling a bit depressed, a bit low. I don't remember why. I surely had a very good reason or not. And I was just like, oh, I don't know. I was just sad, and there was no
Which
reason.
is okay, right? It's okay.
It's perfectly okay.
You need to
And
accept
I would have not gone out to the city to party or to see my friends and for dinner. I was like in my bed with ice cream and wine kind of situation. And my friend Joseph, who owns the Crypto Voxel, he was like, Ellie, I'm having a live DJ set tonight in my Crypto Voxel. Here's the link. Come join us. And I'm like, okay, so I go. And then there's like people partying. That's where I met Meta Ruth, my Meta sister from Connect Club. And I don't know, I had a naked avatar and somehow I landed on a table and people were like, oh my God, Ellie, you're completely naked. And they started to send me wearables. And the DJ was so good, and it was just like all love, and the vibe was incredible. And honestly, like it shifted my day. You know what I mean? It shifted. Like when I closed my computer, I was like, I had the best time. And when you take that, like moods are so fluctuating. It does. So if it can shift your mood from a bit of a dark place to a bright, happy place on a day where you wouldn't have done anything else anyway. That's what I want to provide. Like it's in those moments where we do nothing anyway. Of course, if you had like a nice like date or something on that day, you wouldn't have landed on the metaverse like and ditched your real friends and said, I'm sorry, I can't come have to your baby shower because I'm on the metaverse. But that's really not what we're trying to do. And I think just like you have different tools for different things, and I think the metaverse is going to be a new tool for mental health where we can have, and I'm super excited to collaborate on that, like meditation sessions, you know, wellness kind of sessions, like group therapy sessions with professionals. Like I'm so excited, you know, to build this wellness center and this whole like vertical in the metaverse. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, it does make sense. We are a scientific company, right? And then you are talking about science, talking about segregating endorphins in your brain. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can be eating ice cream, going out, or having a party in the metaverse. At some point, your mood is shifting. You are providing something that you really need right now. I mean, we are not always feeling the same way, not only chemically, but also emotionally. And if we talking, for example, about social anxiety, your levels of chemical levels in your body some days could face those situations much better than others. And maybe your Friday night, you were not feeling ready to go out and mingle with people, dressing up, because basically you don't feel like it's accepted. Sometimes we have friends pulling us out from the house. Maybe in that moment you don't want to. Okay, but then I'm gonna party with some friends as well in the metaverse. And I think that it's something that it's quite important because, as you say, we have a channel, we have a tool, it's an alternative. We're not substituting the experience of real life. We're just trying to provide one more thing. And you also mentioned some few things, because you said your avatar you were having a great fun, people were collaborating with you, giving you wearables and so on. And I don't know if you had the chance to check our project DNAVerse, but for example, one of the roadmaps that we have is to have your own wearables, to have your own genetics customized as wearables, so they show who you are. If you are naked, you're naked. You're new there, you have a hat, you have something that you can actually share with people. It's your essence, you can exchange that. Okay, give me what is yours, this is mine, right? So there are so many possibilities that to customize and personalize what you are doing in the metaverse. So what do you think about our vision of this bridge between science and metaverse and provide the most personalized solution that we can, which is your DNA, your genetics?
What I really like about your company is that you just said it, you're a science company. And as much as we see a lot of crypto native companies and like 22-year-olds doing crazy projects, and it's amazing, I really have a lot of respect for Web2 companies who actually like made the efforts to really dig so much more than me about DAOs and tokenomics, and like you really dug into it, you created this whole ecosystem, and it's all in the name of science, and it's all in the name of digital identity and making people understand how they're unique and understand themselves better, because when we understand something, we're not scared of it. And I think just like the science segment has been really bullied in a lot of ways those past few years and before. So I think the fact that in your community people are starting to research things about DNA and learn about some science stuff that they would not get the chance to otherwise, and that your project promotes that and it's really furthering like human good. Like when I think about is a project valid or not, for me what you're trying to achieve is to make the world a bit of a better place through taking the skills you already had in Web 2 and applying them to this new medium. And I have tremendous respect for that, and I'm very excited to see the project develop, and super happy to partner on some of those mental health topics.
Absolutely. Probably you are aware already that we have a mental health channel and Discord also, and we are promoting people to open up, and we have also some people helping and sharing the stories, and I think that's the most important thing. And you raise a really valid point, which is Web 2. There are many companies that are building the internet we know today, and just because we have Web 3 or it's evolving or we're starting to build up on Web 3, that doesn't matter that Web 2 is now, okay, it's dead. Whoever is building there, we need to just basically neglect what they're doing. There are many healthcare companies that are starting to build up on Web 2. And we are talking about the next 20 years, how we evolve in the metaverse. There is always a balance, a flow, I would say, a bridge between everything, and especially with new technologies. And what we're trying to do is basically to bring this Web 2 from healthcare, from genetics, from science, but give this component of privacy centric. We want people to feel themselves. We want people to be represented themselves, but have this privacy. Own your data, own who you are. You have control of it, so you don't need to be worried about who is using your information, who is doing what with what that you want. This is one of the part of our mission, and I think it's the more we provide a customization, the more we provide people the possibility of knowing themselves. As I said, we have this DNA report that we provide, and then you can see as much as you want, ancestry, nutrition, mental health, and maybe you start clicking and connecting dots. Okay, this is why this medicament or drug that I'm taking is affecting me more than other people. This is why maybe I feel more moody when I'm doing this or eating this. This is maybe it will help you to know each other better. And at the same time, when you were talking about the party in the metaverse, I think you mentioned dating somebody in the metaverse. How this brings me to an interesting question that we are bringing up all the time, which is the AI, right? How the AI, the chatbots, how this is going to affect our mental health. Because it's not the same knowing that you are meeting somebody, that you're meeting somebody that is an avatar, but you don't know if it's a robot or not, a chatbot. How do you think this is going to affect our social engagement when we are progressing in this?
For me, those are not new issues. I remember back when I was a law student, I was contacted by some pretty famous dating websites that were asking me to basically create a profile and talk with men, but never show my camera, never send selfies. So it's just to talk, and for men to see, oh, there's girls, like there's good looking girls. And so then we end up not meeting, and it ends up not working out, but they're like, oh, but there's still girls, because like it's a bummer we didn't meet, and they would pay me hourly. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? So I think what's the difference between that and a bot? You know what I mean? Like you're getting scammed in a way. Like, so I think that problem existed in Web 2. It's of course existing in Web 3, but of course the potential for meeting people and being like, it doesn't matter what the person looks like, I don't even know, and I just get to interact with them with their personality. I think it's a nice change from the dating apps where it's just like pictures of, and we've all done it, but it's like you're not getting to know, like it's broken too. Like the dating industry is a bit broken, and it's a huge industry. Mental health is happiness, right? Dating is love, like the business of love. Everyone wants that. So I think the metaverse will also disrupt the matchmaking industry, obviously, and I think a lot of people are gonna meet in the metaverse, and I'm quite excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the most obvious cases or case studies in the metaverse is the mental health, right? This is connecting with people and see how we influence each other's life. In my opinion, what we're doing it's going to be essential in this space, which is the human verification. I mean, we have people like Elon Musk say we need to human verify people on Twitter. So we avoid the spam bots or what's going on. And you were mentioning the daily, but it could be anything. Like it could be shopping, it could be going partying. How do you think this is going to influence people's life in a way of, imagine you invest time of yourself for 3-4 days, even a week or 2 weeks, talking to somebody that at the end of the day is a bot or it's a scam. How do you identify this person? Don't you think that maybe when you think, okay, there's a hope here for me, or after I broke up, I started to engage with somebody who looks interesting and suddenly it's a bot? How do you think, because we have digital twins, right? And maybe those bots are influenced by who you are and they can adapt to your dialogue, to your preferences, to your hobbies, so they talk in the same level and maybe you feel identified with that. How do you think this is going to affect people's life, especially on the mental?
Yeah, for me, it's when the bot starts asking you for money, because for me, there's no reason to create bots like just to mess with people. Although in my mental health community, we run meetings and they've been telling me that we've been having Zoom bombers. Like people do weird things, but at the end of the day, it's if your date asks you for your seed phrase or to connect, then you're like, okay, this is maybe not like safe. But again, like I haven't.
But what about? Let me show you an example. What about if one of those bots are telling you, okay, why don't we go dating in that metaverse to this restaurant or to this theater, and maybe that theater has been putting bots out there to bring people in, right, and to cash in from those people. We're not talking about privacy anymore. We're talking about, okay, you're gonna use tokens and real money on the metaverse. How do you say, okay, as I don't know you have the experience when you were going out and go to any club and then there's a PR outside trying to bring you in. We could be facing things like this, and I think this is a balance that we need to see how it's going to play out, because it's going to influence people's lives somehow.
You're talking about fraud in the metaverse, and I think there's going to be fraud in the metaverse, and there's going to be sexual harassment in the metaverse, and there's going to be a bunch of problems. There's going to be like property damage. What if someone graffitis Snoop Dogg's house in the metaverse? Is there a law against that? Can you trespass in the metaverse? You know what I mean? There's a whole legal framework that's really complicated, and may even more complicated with kind of the anonymity behind the wallets. So there's definitely, as you said at the beginning of this talk, I do have a bit of a background in law, so I'm always looking at the legal side of things, and I'm like, it's a lot. It depends on the countries. It's very young, but I think there will be fraud, there will be identity theft, and all those behaviors that humans have. We will find them in the metaverse, the best and the worst, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. I think there are always bad and good actors in everything. We cannot stop that. This is the human condition and human factor that we have to deal with. Yeah, well, Elia, we're talking about things that maybe the audience are thinking, this is what they're talking about. We're talking about science fiction, or do you think this is going to be coming within the next 5-10 years? And in my opinion, it's not even 50 years down the line. I think the technology is advancing so quick that in 5-10 years, we're going to be living in metaverses more complexes and with different technology that is going to be giving us this experience of digital realm that look almost real. If you think about your movies at home or how you shopping online, we are in a metaverse that is a blend between Web 2 and Web 3, because you can select yourself. It's more like an immersive experience. But what about when you start putting your goggles, when your headset, your gloves, you start getting there? What do you think it's going to be I would say the terms or in years? So when do you foresee something that is actually, wow, we are there?
The thing is, I think we need a lot of hardware, and with the question of in 5 or 10 years from now, it's a bit of a tricky one. I think if Ellie of 10 years ago met Ellie today, she'd be like, what the hell is happening? This cannot be my life. She'd be so confused. Even Ellie 5 years ago, like, she would not believe what's going on with me. I think in 5 years, I will be probably somewhere very far away from where I think I will be in 5 years. But I think the important thing in life is to follow that feeling, that gut feeling of when I know something is right, and I know it's going to be useful, and I know it's going to be big, and I know it solves a real problem, and I know it solves it well, and I'm just going to head into that direct and be driven by that gut feeling, with having the humility as well to admit when something is not working, when I got something wrong, and not to let my ego say this is my vision, and me getting my vision right is more important than analyzing the facts of life. So I think, as long as we stay true to ourselves, to the market, and to our gut feeling about what we're doing is useful, you know, we're going to end up in pretty strange places. But I think in 5 years, there's going to be more hardware. Look, Meta is like throwing billions into the metaverse. Apple is coming up with goggles. Like, this market is exploding. So the hardware is going to come. There's going to need to be like 5G, 6G, you know what I mean? The speed of network. There's going to be an issue with storing data, because all of that data, like, what do you do with it? And then there's the open versus closed metaverse. And then there's the questions. We don't know. But I think what we do know is that it really has the potential to help a lot of people in a lot of ways. And we need to build wherever we feel like we can contribute in a positive way, and be kind of open-minded as to what turns that journey ends up taking, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And again, you're talking about the journey, right? The experience, the learning, the journey. It's not about a goal. I don't want to be in next place in 5 years. It's about how I'm going to do it, the journey, what is going to be influencing me as I go. As I said, you can pivot along the way 1 million times, and this is why you are here. That's why I am here. We are coming from different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, we are here because we chose to be here. This is the way to go. And I hear this more than I hear my name every day. Every day we learn something new. I open the news, I open the Discord, Twitter, and I see something that is happening in the industry that didn't happen or wasn't there yesterday, right? And this is where we are placed in this highly growing, high-paced growing industry. And I think it's what is going to take us there. And surfing in Web3 or in the metaverse is going to be as natural as it was connected to social media in Web2, or maybe working as we are doing now in the metaverse. It's going to be as normal as it could be doing a normal job right now. Okay, so I think that's the way we're going. It could be coming in 3, 5, 10 years, but as you said, that many companies throwing big weapons behind, and certainly this is here to stay and to develop. So Eli, just for the last question, so we stay below the hour, because this could be going on, and I think it's a conversation for one of those DJ partying at night and just talk for hours. What's your next step? Where are you going from here, and what's your next project? What's your next goal, immediate goal for?
Yeah, so I think now I have the structure. I need to iron out a financial model. I need to iron out a board of advisors. So I'm looking for advisors, ambassadors, and like figuring out who I want to work with, and what are the first things I'd like to put in place. And it's going to be around community building this year anyway. Like in 2022, like my goal is not to make money right now. It's really to build a community, and then it's going to be a retail business. So it's first to build a community, and really an important thing for me is every resource to get better mentally is free. So it's not, oh, you can see a doctor that's going to help you get better, but you owe him $150 an hour. This is free, okay? Whatever we're doing, and this is the base of the company. But then we are going to be finding really cool products from really interesting people, and we're going to be pushing those products to the community. And so the idea would be to do retail, and it would be NFT digital goods, as well as physical goods and experiences in real life and the metaverse, ticketing, etc. So I really want everyone, regardless of their budgets, to be able to join the community and get all the help they need to live a joyous, fulfilled life, feeling loved and accepted. And at the same time, I want to offer spotlight interesting products that I think are really worthy of people's attention, and sell that as a retail business. And that's pretty much reinventing the mental health industry and the way we think about retail, fashion, etc. So that's my next steps, building that community in 2022, and in 2023 to start selling really cool products.
Sounds amazing. I hope we can be there to see your success and see how the things is evolving. I think you have a great mission. I would say vision and mission, which is bringing this sort of mental health talent or balance or value to the ecosystem and help people. I think you have this sort of proud of helping people. I think you love it, and I really encourage you to keep doing that, especially if it's not paid to learn, but it's more enjoy and learn at the same time. As much as you have, as much as your resources are, there's a space for you there, and I think that's fantastic. So Eli, has been great having you around. As I say, the conversation could be lasting hours and hours, but I think we will end it here, so we keep it short and simple. It has been a pleasure. I hope to see you around soon, and maybe in the future to have you again and tell us how was your journey, how everything is going for you, and it will be our pleasure to have you around.
Amazing. Yeah, and when your venue in the metaverse is ready, give me a holler and we can start organizing little events on there. And yeah, in the meantime, if anyone's interested in mental health in the metaverse, feel free to contact me to join the little Telegram group that we have going on. And yeah, connect. Don't be shy, be a friend. And yeah, thank you so much for having me today, and wish you all a wonderful rest of your day, evening, wherever you are right now.
Thank you, Eli. I appreciate that. As she said, follow her. She will have the social media handles at all times around, also the website of her project. And for us, the same. This has been one more episode, and we are going to be publishing this in our usual channels, social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Discord, YouTube. Give us a follow, DNAVerse, follow Eli Strzelecka and Conspicuous. I hope this time I say much better, and I will see you soon next time in the DNAVerse podcast series. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.